Geometry, Chapter 3, Lesson 5, we're going to do a few examples where we apply the Polygon angle sum theorem, which we learned in the last video. And remember, we came up with this little equation that the sum of all the angles, and this should be interior angles, I can determine by taking the number of sides that the polygon has, subtracting 2, and then multiplying it by 180. And that will give me that answer. And again, we can apply this two ways. If we know the sides, we can put the n here. And if we know the angles, we can put it here and solve for n. We'll do a few examples of both so you get to see it. And then hopefully that will be helpful to you. So if the polygon that we're looking at has 3 sides, what's the number of the sum of all the angles inside? So we put 3 in for n right here, and then we simply solve it. So 3 minus 2 is 1, and then multiply it by 180. So a 3-sided polygon, which is a triangle, all the angles inside add up to 180, which is what we said with the triangle angle sum theorem from a few lessons ago. So that does make sense. So you can see that it does work for that. So let's do another one. So what if we have 52-sided polygon? So we have 52 sides. Well, what do all the angles inside add up to? So this is the number of sides, so it goes in for n, and then I simply do the arithmetic. So 52 minus 2 is 50, times then 180. So what this means, there's 50 triangles in form, and so each triangle has 180 degrees, so 50 times 180. So that would give us a whopping 9,000 degrees. So all of the angles together would add up to 9,000. Let's do one more. I think these are kind of easy, but we'll do one more. Okay, so let's say we have 100 sides. So again, this is the number of sides, so it doesn't go here, it goes where n is. And then we simply do the arithmetic. So we're going to do 100 minus 2, which is 98. That means there's 98 triangles that would be formed. And then each triangle has 180, so we'll multiply it by 180. And we'll get 17,640 degrees would be what all those angles inside that polygon add up to. So let's mix things up a little bit. Well, let's say we don't know how many sides there are, but we know what the angles add up to. Okay, so in this example, let's see if this can get this to go forward here. Here we go. All right, so here the sum of the measures is given. How many sides does it have? So here 1980. Now that's the measure of the angles. That's not how many sides it has. How many sides is unknown. So I still use the same equation, but now this number goes over here because this is what the angles add up to. So now I have to solve for n. So the best way to do this is because it's 180 times this. I can divide this side by 180 because that's going to leave me 1. So that's going to be n minus 2 over here. But then I have to divide 1980 by 180 as well. So when I divide 1980 by 180, I get 11. So 11 is equal to n minus 2. Now I'm solving for n, so I add 2 to both sides. So I get n is equal to 13. So this particular polygon that adds up to 1980 degrees has 13 sides. Okay, so again, we begin with the formula, we substitute in the values we know, and then we solve the expression. So let's do another one. Let's say the angles add up to 2,880. And again, that's the number of the measure of all the angles added together. So that goes over here. So now we have this equation, so we're going to solve it for n. So again, I have to get rid of the parentheses, so I'm going to divide by 180. But that means I have to divide this side by 180. So that's going to leave me n minus 2 over here. So 2880 divided by 180 is 16. So then again, we're going to add 2 to both sides, so n is equal to 18. So this polygon would have 18 sides. Okay, let's do one more example, and I think you get the idea here. We're just substituting these values into this equation. So all we really have to memorize for this lesson is this equation, and then and what these letters represent, n and this, and just put them into the right place. Let's see if I can't get one. All right, 1,080. How many sides does this polygon have? So again, this goes over here. So we're then going to solve this equation. So again, I'm going to divide by 180. So that's going to leave me n minus 2 over here. And I'm going to divide this by 180. So 1,080 divided by 180 is 6. and then we're going to add 2 to both sides. So this would be an 8-sided figure. Okay, so I think you get the idea. So let me go and talk about, I think actually we're going to end this here, and then we'll talk about regular polygons, and then we'll come back and revisit this when we're talking about regular polygons.